Pax8 Beyond 2025. What an event. Third year they've had it. I've had the great pleasure of being there for all three. This one was the biggest. It was over 3,400 total attendees, 2,400 partner registrations, like over 40 breakouts and over 40 education sessions. It was, the entertainment was fantastic. Snoop Dogg came out and performed. It was a really, really great event. Podcast was there, of course. We had a whole podcasters row. I think there was 10 of us. It was fantastic. It was done very, very well. I was able to, me and my team, we conducted 24 interviews, had 24 great conversations there in Denver. Kathleen Lord, lessons from the saddle, grit, growth, and tech insight. Great conversation with Kathleen. Aaron Pederick, yes, coaching cybersecurity and real life comebacks. Fascinating story Aaron has. Shlomi, of course, I've known Shlomi Jan for a little while now. Really insightful. Really like talking to Shlomi. Kim Simmons, my goodness, what such energy, such life. I hope to be working more with her and her team. They were gracious enough to invite me to a dinner. It was they've got a great product, smarter. The name of the episode is Creativity Meets Contracts. Colin Britton, of course, Formula One to Intune. Great partner there. Colin, great conversation with Intune with his great platform. Marco LaVecchia, data, purpose, and the MSP playbook. Great conversation with Marco. Rex Frank, my old friend. I've known Rex for, 15, 20 years. He's there at Pax8. Really knowledgeable. Learned some things about him I didn't know during our conversation. Oh my goodness, Lorna Berman. What a delight. What an absolute delight to talk to Lorna and her team riding Malibu and running MSP ops. She's got a horse named Malibu, but great insight, great platform they had there too. Tom Harshbarger. My goodness, I've known Tom since he was at Microsoft about 20 years. Now he's with this great firm, Metallica, misconfigs and mindset. We talk a lot about that. Great conversation with Tom. Lewis, of course, Begdanis from Uvilla. Great conversation. I start off with cooking. I like to cook, and he does too. Meatball Mindset and MSP projects. Darren Swan, great conversation with Darren. I've known Darren for a little while now. Enjoyed talking to him. Opened the conversation with Vinyl, Espresso, and Cyber Trust. Pinar, yes, I love speaking with Pinar. Pickleball, Possums and Proactive Security. Great conversation with Pinar, CEO of that great firm. Tanya, of course, got to know Tanya. We had a great conversation on the phone before we met there and had the conversation in Denver. Tanya Alfonso from Kitchen to Cybersecurity. Damo, I love talking to Damo, of course, from Super Ops. Barbells and AI for MSPs. Great conversation with Demo. Charlie Tomio. I've known Charlie for 15, 20 years now. Great talking. We talk about, phishing and MSP automation, the great Roost platform. Ryan Etteridge, Black Belts and Cybersecurity. Great conversation with Ryan. Fascinating insight. The martial arts plays on people's lives. Joe Saunders, cigars, securities, and self-reflection. Great conversation with Joe. Rob Ray, been in the community for, I've known him since he was even before Dado, fellow Connecticut resident. Great talking to Rob. He's doing great things there as vice president there at Pax8. Drew Schlessel, of course, great talking about their Wasabi platform. We actually became a partner as well. The platform is so good. Chance Weaver, AI adoption. He's there at Pax8 talking about his great story and how he got there, but he's working on AI adoption at Pax8. Christopher Marquez. I've had the good pleasure of knowing Christopher for a little while now. We talk about Chile, coaching and cyber threats. Really great insight from Christopher. Chris Day, been in the, my goodness, I've known him since, from IT Glue all the way where he is now at ScalePad, been in the system for a long, been in the channel, the community for a long time. Gene Kim, surfboard, security, and staying operational. Enjoyed talking to Gene. I had the chance to meet him at Secure, ConnectWise Secure. And lastly, Ken Tripp, Microsoft Copilot and compliance. Great conversations there at Pax8 Beyond 2025. Incredible event. Can't wait to see what they come up with next. Hi, I'm Joey Pinz, and here's my 45-second introduction. After starting my business in the 90s, I started developing poor habits of eating in my diet because I was working way too much. Before you know it, I found myself 340 pounds. The doctor told me if I don't lose the weight, I'm not going to see my daughter graduate. Took the next 7 months, lost 130 pounds. People think there's some secret. Ask me, how'd you lose that weight? Like there's some secret. There is no secret. How'd I lose the weight? Just one word: discipline. I've had other successes in life, and I attribute them all to discipline. Now, I'm not the king of discipline, but I believe that it can help all of us. Friends, colleagues convinced me to start a podcast. The podcast mission: how do we better ourselves and society? I talk to interesting people in health, fitness, sport, wellness, business, technology, science, art, and culture. And I eventually ask them how discipline plays a role in their life. Podcast vision: growth through learning from others. What's e-foiling? I think I've seen this before, right? Tell me what it is. This is like a surfboard, but it's partially in the water, but there's an engine.
Yeah, so basically, I don't know if you know, there's kite foiling, there's just foil boards, but it looks like kind of like a bodyboard, like a
right.
board.
Yes.
Then it has, a fin off of it, and on the bottom of that fin is a wing. And so that wing creates lift in the water, and so you're flying above the water.
Whoa!
And then the e-foils have a motor inside of the fin, and the new ones have jets. Mine's a propeller.
Whoa!
And yeah, you can. I mean, on a full battery, I think I can go about an hour and a half.
In this fast-paced MSP landscape, how do you stay ahead? Introducing MSPinfluencer.com, your ultimate hub for MSP news, insights, and community connection, powered by Forza Dash. More than 75,000 MSPs subscribe to our MSP Influencer Pulse weekly newsletter, staying informed and ahead of industry trends. Tune in to emerging podcasts from Joey Pinz and leading MSP voices, offering essential tips, powerful insights, and success stories. Explore our multi-authored blogs, crafted specifically for MSP leaders, delivering fresh perspectives and actionable strategies. Celebrate excellence with the industry-leading Forza MSP Influencer Awards, recognizing innovation, leadership, and impact in the MSP community. Join thousands of MSP professionals who trust MSPinfluencer.com to grow their business and expand their networks. MSPinfluencer.com, where today's MSP leaders connect, collaborate, and conquer, all powered by the Forza platform, helping MSP vendors work effectively with MSPs and helping MSPs grow. And how fast do you get?
Are we recording right now?
Yeah.
Oh, my
And
bad.
how fast do you get?
Really, I don't know the speed exactly, but it's really fast.
There's got to be something.
Yeah.
So the water, can you be in the ocean and do this? It's got to be relatively...
I do it in the ocean, but sometimes it's hard to get past the break with this thing because you have to get out to chest high so you can flip it over and get going. But
now you're in Vegas, so you got to take a little ride.
actually, I live in Mexico.
So your LinkedIn said
I'm between Vegas and Mexico, but mostly in Mexico.
I say. How did you find this sport?
Well, when I sold my business in
Your
2021,
MSP.
my MSP, so when I sold IT Responsive to New Charter Technologies in 2021, it was the first toy I bought.
Huh. That could be expensive?
Yeah, well, one of the first things I did is I took a lesson out of Newport Beach, because back then I lived in California, and I loved it, and I bought one on the spot.
Did you really?
And then I just got into it.
And it's called the flight board.
A flight board is the brand of the e-foil that I have.
Oh, I see. And there's some that don't have an engine. There's some that they have to have some form of propel.
Don't. You actually bounce on the waves and use that to gain the lift. There's guys that ride between the islands in Hawaii on those things.
Wow.
Yeah. It's really cool. I wish I could do that. It's just like I know how to sail. I was in the military in the Navy, and we learned how to sail when I was in Pensacola. It's too much work. I just want to turn it on and go.
Yeah, you got to be friends with the elements at that point, don't you? Yeah. How often do you get out?
Right now, even recently, where I live, it's really difficult to get past the break. So I don't go out that often where I live. But when I travel, I take it with me quite a bit.
Isn't that interesting?
So like the Sea of Cortez, like I have some property over there, and when I'm over there, you can't find me. I'm on that thing all the time. Yeah.
That's the West Coast or the East Coast of
it's so between the Baja Peninsula and mainland Mexico.
I see.
On mainland Mexico, but the Sea of Cortez.
I see. I'm unfamiliar with that area as much. Wow, sounds like a great. And so you've been doing this for 4 years. That's 21 years since you got there.
Yep. I did break 3 ribs doing it though.
What?
Yeah.
How?
Well, so when because I bought it right after my first lesson, and we went to our property, and it's in San Carlos, actually, Mexico. And I went out, and normally, back then I was learning, so I was wearing a helmet and a vest and everything like that. And my wife's like, well, I want to take some pictures and everything, so take that off.
Oh, no.
And so I did, and I'm feeling pretty good about myself. And so I'm cruising around, she's taking pictures, I'm starting to feel it, I'm starting to do some tighter turns and everything. Went back that afternoon, charged it, and then I just kind of took off by myself. And there's this island out there, there's all these islands, it's really beautiful. And I'm just cruising along, and so sometimes you eat it, you know what I mean? It's no big deal.
Sure.
But if you jump off the board and the wing flips, it has a tendency to come right back at you. But if you fall off, it kind of just keeps going. No one told me that. I learned that after this accident. Yeah, it came right back at me. And I'm out like far in the Sea of Cortez by myself, and I'm like hanging onto the board, and I didn't bring my helmet or my vest.
Whoa.
And I couldn't breathe for like 15 minutes. I was like just like, sucking in air.
God.
And I had to ride that thing back, and it was painful. But luckily we were flying home the next day, so it all worked out, but it was crazy.
Luckily, so you could see somebody medically? Like, what do you mean? Why?
Well, I mean, in Mexico I could have went, but San Carlos is kind of away from things a little bit.
I see.
And I just figured, and there's nothing you can do about a broken rib. I knew they were broken, and what's a doctor going to do? You can wrap it, but that really doesn't even do anything.
Doesn't,
so,
yeah.
Not the first rib I've broken. Either.
Yeah. I broke one about a year and a half ago in jiu-jitsu, and then I couldn't play golf for a couple of weeks, and I was pissed as hell, Chance. And so, yeah. As we get older, you got to just be careful. But it sounds like a great hobby, man.
It's fun.
And you don't bring your phone, so you're off the grid. I mean, that's part of its beauty, right? Do you put
I
an
bring
earpiece
my phone.
in? Oh, really?
Yeah.
To listen to stuff?
Sometimes I've done that. Yeah.
But you're not texting people.
Well, this is funny. So when COVID hit, I went down to our property in Mexico. It's about 50 minutes south of San Diego, and I would go out on my paddleboard and have what I called board meetings, because I would call into our morning stand-up at my MSP from my paddleboard. It was awesome.
That is freaking cool. So we're here at Pax8 Beyond. Chance, it's the big event here in Denver. What are some of your goals this week?
Some of my goals this week. So I am building an innovation group. I'm looking for partners, Pax8 partners that are doing more than the average with AI. There's some internal transformation. They've actually started doing some agentic things with their customers. And I'm putting together an innovation group where I'm going to bring the power of the vendors behind Pax8 to really push them to the limit. So these partners need to be able to scale. They need to be able to dedicate some resources to this initiative, but to basically figure out what good looks like from an AI practice standpoint inside of their organization. And we're going to use that to build out services from Pax8 to help the partners that don't have that scale or capability.
Wow. You're VP of AI adoption.
Yep.
What's different between adopting AI and understanding it and learning it?
Well, I think they kind of go hand in hand. I mean, you can't really adopt AI unless you learn it.
I would hope.
But I think, a lot of partners they're either scared about AI or they're excited about AI, but they have no idea what to do with it. It doesn't start with AI. The conversation MSPs have been historically bad consultants, right? And then you have like the licensing, I can't think of it.
Provisioning
it doesn't matter. But you have other companies that are very good consultants, accountancy firms, things like that are better at the consultancy business, but they don't really understand SMB. So they have to come down, and the SMB MSPs have to come up and figure out how to have that conversation. And it's really not, and then I heard this from a partner when I first arrived and I was presenting in the PAC meeting. He was like, well, how do you scale that? If we have to understand our customer's business and map out their process, and I'm like, you don't have to understand their entire business. You know what I mean? You need to pick one win. And it starts with a conversation of, hey, Mr. Customer, like, what sucks in your business? What's the if you could change one thing that would change the needle, what would it be? But now you ask leadership that. If your contact's the director of IT, you ask them that. And then you ask the frontline workers, the people making the widget or doing the service or whatever that is. And guess what? They all think it's something different.
Wow.
And you bring that back to leadership and say, hey, guess what? This is what your people think. Let's pick one. Which one's going to move the needle the most? Then you can map out the process. But the other part of the conversation at that point is, okay, we're going to pick this one. If we fix this, what is that going to save you? What's that mean from a monetary standpoint? Is it efficiency? Is it direct to the bottom line? But what does winning look like if we fix this?
Wow.
So you have the measurable outcome. That's where AI starts, is with that conversation. Then you can map out the process, and then you can determine what technology to apply against it. And it might not necessarily be AI. It could be just business intelligence, or it could be, basic automation, which they're calling level 1 agents now, but it's still the same automation that we've always done, right?
Right.
But, you figure out what the right tool is to apply to that solution, you fix it, and but the other part of it is I come from the MSP space.
Yes, you do.
Right? And I built an MSP, I sold it, I worked at a large platform MSP, so I've been along the whole journey. And I retired, so I was in December, I retired, I was out.
Wow.
Yeah, Nick Eddy talked me into coming back.
Nick could do that,
Yeah.
yes.
I love that guy.
Yeah.
Known him for a long time.
Yeah. Hey, Joey Pinz here. Want to take your podcast experience to the next level? I'm excited to invite you to become a YouTube member. It's the absolute best way to support the channel and enhance your connection. Join our amazing community and unlock the incredible perks, custom loyalty badges, exclusive emojis, and priority comment replies. Your voice will always stand out. Be the first to watch new videos with early access, receive special membership shoutouts, and get exclusive behind-the-scenes photos and updates. Dive into content available only to our members, special videos, deep dives, and insider perspectives. Engage directly with me. Suggest podcast topics you want to hear, and even get personalized video shoutouts. Hit the join button right now and become part of something special. Let's build this amazing community together. I can't wait to welcome you as a new member. Join the Joey Pinz family today. Whiskey was involved?
Huh?
Whiskey was involved?
No, actually.
Really?
No, I was in Mexico, and I connected with him, and we had a conversation about this idea he had for a role, and then I started talking with Lane, and I've known all these guys because IT Responsive was an early Pax8 partner.
I see.
So I've known these guys for a long time, and I've seen the growth that Pax8 went through firsthand. And then when I was at New Charter, I was the 11th company that sold to them.
Wow.
I think they're at 36 now. But when I left in December, they were doing I want to say $45 million a year with Microsoft, compared to $100,000 a month. Or
Right.
I think IT Responsive, when I sold it, we were probably maybe a little over $1.5 million with Microsoft.
Wow.
Big, different beast, right?
Yes.
So running the Microsoft practice for that was completely different. And but I know the whole journey, and I think that's what Nick wanted. He wanted someone to come in from the other side of the house to really understand that partner journey.
What do you miss about the MSP?
Everything. IT Responsive.
Everything.
I loved my company.
Why'd you sell it?
Because New Charter, the model that they have was very intriguing to me, because you
Right.
can continue to run your company and you don't necessarily have to change. It was actually, the sale of my company was the most anticlimactic thing that's ever happened.
Really?
Because I'm expecting fireworks to go off or something, No, I just got a bunch of money in my bank account and nothing changed.
Right.
But slowly, they take all of the headaches away from an MSP, like accounting and, recruiting and marketing, all of the things that MSPs are notoriously bad at. They centralize that, and you get to actually run your business. So I was, and then you can reinvest, you can recapitalize, and when it's a private equity backed company, they're going to sell at some point. So, the idea is you can take another bite of the apple later on. So it was intriguing to me. I actually thought it was BS. I didn't think it was going to really. I didn't tell anyone. I did all the due diligence myself, and I didn't want anyone to know unless it really happened and went through. And it did, and it turned out to be an amazing experience because I got to see what an MSP looks like at scale. To be part of New Charter, you have to have a successful MSP. They're not, it has to be profitable and significantly profitable. And there's not a lot of MSPs that are, believe it or not.
Yeah.
I was on the team that evaluated MSPs the last 3 years. You have to sift through a lot to find those companies. It's hard to get into that room at New Charter. One of the most amazing rooms I've been in.
Really?
I mean, obviously, if you've built a successful MSP in all different sizes, I think we were just shy of $8 million when I sold. I mean, they're buying $20 million companies, $40 million companies, but everybody in that room brings something different to the table, and it's just an amazing group of people. I love and I miss that group of people.
Yeah.
But I miss my MSP too. That was a lot of fun, being the guy that got to make the decisions. And, at that size, you could pivot very fast.
Right.
And you could try things new very fast. We were tip of the spear, man.
Wow. Were you in a peer group, Chance?
I did do MSP Ignite for a little while. I wasn't in, I was involved in peer groups after I sold because New Charter's heavily invested in IT Nation and the ConnectWise ecosystem. I can't remember what it is, but
Evolve,
yeah, it was Evolve. So I did do that for a little while, but did MSP Ignite. But in that room, I felt like I was the one always giving. I felt like we were operationally more mature than most of the MSPs. And so I ended up finding a couple of other MSPs. There was one out of Portland that we're still friends with. We still hang out and a couple of other MSPs that I still talk to occasionally, the owners, and we kind of had our own peer group and held each other accountable.
This happens a lot.
Yeah.
That is a nice way to do it.
Because there's no lying, there's no flexing. Because we were in that peer group and there was guys, and I'm like, well, I literally can see your numbers. That doesn't really make sense. What you're telling me here doesn't match what your numbers are telling me.
Yeah. I sold the MSP in 2019, a little bit before you, and I guess I miss the peer groups. When I get asked what were the three big things, I always say the peer, joining a peer group, adopting an operating system, right? Whether it's EOS, whatever it may be, and then just hiring a coach. What do you think about those three pieces for MSPs?
I think it's important, and I wish I would have done things a little differently. I made all of the stupid mistakes and thought I was smarter than everybody and did a lot of it on my own. And I think I could have scaled faster and been. I think I could have done everything earlier.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm a really old dude now, and I wish I would have thought about all these things. So I think the MSPs that take advantage of those things, and Pax8 has a lot of that stuff, and I mean, I've known Rex for a long time. He comes from my neck of the woods, right? And
you're from the Northwest?
No, I mean, originally he was
in California.
Yeah, Southern California.
That's right.
And so, I mean, I've seen the success that's had for partners that he works with inside of our ecosystem, and so it's a great thing. I just was too dumb to take advantage of it.
Well, part of youth of going out and branching yourself out and taking these risks is part of, the whole, if you were more conservative, you might not have done that, so who knows. So I started the MSP back in the 90s, Chance, and I was working way too hard, 14-hour days, stranger to this. Yeah, and getting home late and not eating well, and so I'm in front of the doctor. I'm at 340 pounds.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And you don't really feel it. Your body gets used to it. It's a wonderful machine we have, It was a 46-inch waist. I'm 32 now, so it's terrible. Yeah, it was terrible. So she's like, if you don't lose this weight, you're not going to see your daughter graduate. My daughter was just born. Scared the hell out of me. I'm driving home, punching the steering wheel. What have I done to myself? I can abuse myself all I want, but I've got this family now,
Right.
Next 6-7 months, lost about 120 pounds. Kept it off. You can't look at it as a finishing line, right? These are lifelong changes you need to make. When I tell
it's a constant battle.
It is. I still feel occasionally there's the 340-pound guy trying to get out. I feel it every once in a while.
I can see that.
But when I tell people this story, they say, what's your secret? And there's no secret, Chance. Discipline, right? Motivation, focus, willpower. How does discipline play a role in your life?
Well, I went through something very similar. I mean, not to that scale, but I was always a heavy guy, like
really?
a really heavy guy. probably the best I ever looked was, now is the best I ever looked.
Me too.
But coming out of high school, I had a 30-inch waist, like 180 pounds. Whoa. Going into the Navy. And back then, and I was fit in the Navy, but once I got out of the Navy, and same thing, started running an IT company.
Right.
That all changed. And I was sitting behind a desk that much, or doing too many all-nighters. There was plenty of those. It takes a toll on you. And next thing you know, I was 240 pounds and looking like, the Pillsbury Doughboy. It was bad. And I always carried it really well, I think. I think I was a 36-inch waist. I wasn't far behind you.
Oh, wow.
And what happened was I went out to play some pickup flag football with some buddies. And it was because I was coaching football at the time. That was one thing that I loved to do. I coached my son through Pop Warner and ended up coaching in high school for a little while.
Wow.
Even after he went away to college. And I really loved coaching, and I love football. I'm a football nut. But so I started playing some flag football game and then found a league. And that's actually what got me fit, because I almost died when I started playing again. I had zero ability I was definitely not in football shape.
Wow.
And so ended up getting back into shape, and this is probably my late 30s. When I was 40, I was back in great shape. Playing on a team, we won almost every championship for 7 years straight. There's 3 seasons in a year, and we just play, and we were older guys playing in a young league. We didn't play in the over 40 league.
Wow.
We're playing against kids out of college that played in college. And we were winning because we played together for so long.
Wow.
And I missed that too. It was so fun. Ended up rupturing both Achilles at different points of that journey, but
Want to show your love for discipline, inspiration, and the Joey Pinz podcast? Now's your chance. Introducing the brand new Joey Pinz merch store, where style meets discipline. Choose from premium apparel, cozy hoodies, stylish hats, durable bags, and your new favorite coffee mug, all featuring the iconic Joey Pinz logo. Perfect for podcast fans, discipline enthusiasts, or as unique gifts for friends and family. Every purchase supports the Joey Pinz Discipline Conversations podcast, helping us continue to inspire greatness and promote positive change. Visit joeypinz.com/store today and wear your discipline proudly. Joey Pinz merch. Wear it, share it, and live it.
Yeah, you win some, you lose some.
Yeah. That's fascinating that your kind of turning moment was the subtle kind of pressure of not being able to compete as well.
Yeah. I have to win.
Yeah, you have to win, right, right. And when you saw yourself slipping, that was the turnaround.
Yep. And now I don't think that's something you can teach either. My youngest daughter has it. My other 2 kids don't have it.
Right. Yeah, that kind of fight.
Yeah.
I coach my girls in soccer, and I can always tell when one of the teammates had an older brother. I can always tell. I can always tell. There'd be the first practice, and I'd be like, "So what's your brother's name?" He's like, "How'd you know I have a brother, Coach?" I know you got it.
I love that.
You could just tell. You can't teach that. You can't, coach that. It's just fight. It's just fight in it. Yeah. Football's a great sport for that too, because you need all aspects of athleticism. And you played as well?
I played a little bit in high school. I wasn't a great kid, and I played a little baseball, a little football. Got pulled off of the team for fighting and not going to school and doing all the bad things. But the military really turned me around. I loved the Navy.
Yeah,
the Navy was awesome.
The Navy will do that. Talk about discipline. I mean, it's instilled there, isn't it?
Absolutely, and I think it really instilled a sense of discipline, honor, duty, getting things done, seeing things through.
Right.
I really enjoyed my time in the military.
So your message to MSPs this week, Chance, is what?
You need to embrace this. Obviously, you absolutely need to embrace this. Pax8, we're building a program for you to help you along this journey. I'm looking for partners that want to be involved on both sides of the equation, that are willing to trial this program before we roll it out to the masses, and then partners that are really interested in being part of that innovation group. There's so much to do. And there's so much low-hanging fruit. MSPs are sitting on a gold mine that they don't even know about yet. And we're going to open that door for them and walk through it with them. And I'm excited about the opportunity to help. The reason I came back to work after retiring is the opportunity to help a bunch of partners in a place where they're struggling. And, if this is my last gig, that's a pretty cool thing to do on my way out the door.
Yeah, sure is. Thanks for your time today, Chance. Anybody wants to get in touch with you, how can they do so?
Well, right now, you can connect up with me on LinkedIn. That's a great first start. I'm obviously reaching out to Pax8 partners internally. Pax8 partners reach out to your CAM or your AE and have them, and tell them that you want to talk to me, and we'll get this all set up for you.
Chance Weaver, Weaver, VP of AI Adoption. Thanks so much for your time today.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for listening and or viewing Joey Pinz Discipline Conversations. Please share this episode with one or two of your friends who you think may benefit from the episode. Our website, www.joeypinz.com. There you'll find lots of resources and you could join our mailing list. Please follow us on all our social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Podcast information, the video version of our podcast is on YouTube. Please subscribe. Audio is on all major podcasting platforms. Please follow them. And if you like it, please consider giving 5-star rating. Would really appreciate that. Thank you again for listening or watching Joey Pinz Discipline Conversations.